we are back at it again with another round of Switch eShop deals covering the US, Canada, UK, Europe and Australia. We've got a mix though of new releases, returning heavy hitters and a few hidden gems you don't want to miss. I'll also be announcing 2 winners later in the video for 2 $10 eShop gift cards, and I've got 2 more to give away. Just drop a comment down below to enter and winners will be announced next Saturday. Alright, look, if you do enjoy these weekly deal roundups along with previews, reviews and a flood of Gamescom coverage coming later this month, consider subscribing. It really helps out a smaller channel like mine a huge amount. Now, let's dive in. We'll start with a heavy hitter. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim is 67% up, matching its lowest price, and at this point, it's been released on just about everything. Fridges are probably next, but it is still one of the most iconic open world RPGs ever made. Now you play as the Dragonborn, a prophesized hero with the power to slay dragons and absorb their souls. From there, you can dive into the main story to stop an ancient evil threatening the world, or just lose yourself in hundreds of side quests, guilds, and dungeons. It is all about freedom. You can be an assassin, a powerful mage, or just run around shouting people off cliffs. The world is huge, it's packed with things to do, and it is the kind of game you can sink dozens or even hundreds of hours into. Now personally, I'm ready for something new from Bethesda, but if you've never played it, there's a reason it gets so much love, and the Switch is as good a place as any to check it out. Long Gone Days is 45% off a new low price, and this is a gem of an RPG set in, let's call it somewhat the real world. It's more about human connection than fantasy tropes. It's focused on civilians, language barriers, and life on the edges of war. Now you play as Rourke, a sniper trained from birth in a secretive underground state called the Core. On his first mission, he quickly learns that the organization he trusted is far from noble, forcing him to desert and face the human cost of modern conflict. Now, the game, it blends turn-based combat with almost slice-of-life exploration. Every encounter though is handcrafted, no random battles, and there's a great body targeting system that lets you strategically pick apart enemies. You'll also need interpreters to overcome language barriers. You'll build bonds that feel genuinely meaningful, and yeah, personally this was a surprise hit for me. I love the narrative, and yeah, the mechanics are really well implemented. My only gripe in fact is that there weren't enough of these first-person sniper sequences. They are brilliant, and I would have loved more. Cat Quest 3 is 40% off, matching the low price, and adventure fans, you really have to play this series. This one kicks off a new swashbuckling tale, and yeah, you're basically on a treasure hunt to uncover mythical riches while navigating a story full of pirates, feline rogues, and more bad cat puns than you can count. It's an action RPG packed with charm, humour, and surprisingly solid combat for something that looks this cute. Expect though to be sailing between islands, exploring dungeons, taking on quests, and battling all sorts of feline and canine foes with a mix of melee attacks and magic. The world though, extremely vibrant, it's full of personality, and underneath it is a genuinely well-designed adventure. So yeah, look, honestly, I have no complaints about this series. I've loved every single entry. If I had one wish, I'd just like them to be a little bit longer. This one's around 6 hours to finish. But aside from that, it's all good stuff and an easy recommendation at this price. Wargroove 2 is 40% off a new low price, and this is a must-buy for strategy fans. I love the first game, and this sequel, it continues the formula. It's turn-based, grid-based tactics in the vein of Advance Wars, but with its own kind of like fantasy twist and personality. Now the story this time sees a new ambitious faction unearthing forbidden relics with the power to cause catastrophic consequences. It is up to you and your chosen commanders to navigate political tensions and stop things from spiraling out of control. Gameplay-wise, you're commanding factions across colourful battle maps, capturing resources, and positioning units to gain that upper hand. The campaign though introduces fresh mechanics and a roguelike mode for replayability, and I will say it's not the hardest tactics game on the system, but it's packed with personality. It's just genuinely a lot of fun to play. Between the campaign then, map editor, and online multiplayer, I think it is a great package and an easy recommendation at this price. Risen is 55% off a new low price, and here you play as a shipwreck survivor stranded on the volcanic island of Faranga. This is a place that's rocked by earthquakes, where ancient temples have risen from the earth, unleashing these creatures that are terrorizing the locals. Now there's this kind of group called the Inquisitors. They're trying to bring order. However, rebels are pushing back, and there's also these mystic rituals that hint at something darker occurring. It is a gritty action RPG where you'll explore the island, pick a faction to side with, and master melee, magical range combat while deciding Faranga's fate. Now, transparently, this is from like 2009 originally. It is very much going to be an acquired taste. Janky would be a nice way to put it. The combat's clunky, it shows its age for sure, but I adored it back in the day. So there's some nostalgia here for me, and yeah, I still love it. So definitely watch a review first, but if you can handle the dated experience, the vibe, I think it's worth it. The world is just great fun to explore, and there's some really interesting concepts. Yosei Wars is 20% off a new low price, and I actually got my hands on a code for this one this week. It's only just launched. This is actually a launch discount. But this is a fast-paced retro platformer where you play as Honoka, a fairy trying to rescue kidnapped tooth fairies. Basically, they're being attacked by junk food monsters. Each stage, though, has you grabbing teeth, dodging hazards, and unleashing lightning blasts to free your friends. It's got a proper old-school arcade vibe, 36 levels, chunky pixel art, chiptune music. It even comes with extras like prototype builds and a full art gallery. This game actually as well, if you picked it up on Steam, will run on a Game Boy Advance. It's actually built for that hardware, which is very cool in itself. So if you do like the era, this nails it, and playing it on the Switch, especially in handheld, it just makes sense. Then there's a Shinsekai Into the Depths, which is 50% off, matching its lowest price. And this one's actually a bit of a hidden gem from Capcom. I don't think too many people actually realize this is a Capcom game. It kind of flew under the radar. But yeah, it's an underwater Metroidvania where you're one of the last surviving humans. You're forced beneath the ocean after the world essentially freezes over. You'll be exploring eerie submerged ruins, scavenging resources, and upgrading your gear to dive deeper or fighting off hostile sea life. It's atmospheric, it's tense, and it has incredible sound design that makes you feel like you're truly isolated and miles below the surface. I don't know why this one got ignored on Switch, because it's honestly a fantastic adventure, and you can find my full review in the pinned comments. Now, I actually mentioned these two prior games and together because you may have noticed I missed Thursday's usual under $10 deals video, and that is because we had the Nintendo Direct, and there was a few drops in there that completely ate my time. Those deals videos, though, will be back this Thursday for sure. I actually might even drop a bonus one Tuesday because there's so much to cover right now. So if you do want to see that video on Tuesday, let me know in the comments. Animal Well is 25% off, matching the low price, and this is a mysterious little Metroidvania where you awaken as a tiny blob deep underground in this sprawling, interconnected labyrinth. There's no hand-holding, no quest markers, just strange creatures, cryptic puzzles, and a constant feeling that something's lurking just out of sight. The story here, deliberately vague. But expect though to be exploring this world, piecing together fragments of history and secrets, and the deeper you go, the more unsettling and fascinating it becomes. I love this game, but I will say here, it kind of pulled a full range of emotions out of me, and at first that key emotion was pure frustration, and I say that because you really do have to stick with it. Once, however, you find the game's unique flow after an hour or so, it just kind of clicks, and yeah, really is something special. Fatal Frame Maiden in Blackwater is 30% off, matching the low price, and this one takes you to Mount Akami, a place steeped in dark folklore and tragic history where countless people, they've gone missing over the years. Now you play as 3 different characters, each with their own storylines, exploring haunted shrines and abandoned hotels, while trying to uncover the mystery behind the mountain's curse. The hook here, though, is the camera obscura, a special camera you use to fight off ghosts. So instead of traditional combat, you're lining up shots and timing them just right to deal damage. It makes every encounter tense without relying on jump scares. Now, I will be honest here, I hadn't really played Fatal Frame before these games came to Switch, but you can call me a fan now, that is for sure. Now, they're not particularly scary again, but I love the eerie setup, the intertwined narratives are really cool, and those photo mechanics, just gold. Plus, they look fantastic on the system. You can find my review below. Dredge then is 50% off, matching the low in the US and Canada and hitting a new low price everywhere else. This one's a modern classic, and I highly recommend it. You play as a fisherman arriving in a remote set of islands with a mysterious past. On the surface, it feels like a simple fishing game. You're sailing between islands, upgrading your boat and hauling in your daily catch. But as night falls, things take a darker turn. The waters become dangerous, strange creatures stalk you, and the townsfolk kind of start hinting at a long-buried secret. It's part cozy, part creepy, and yeah, just a fantastic balance between exploration, resource management, and Lovecraftian horror. The story though, it pulls you in slowly, and before you know it, you'll be kind of tangled up in this unsettling mystery that you simply can't put down. It's an absolute must-play, especially at this price. Mortal Kombat 1 is 67% off, matching the low price. This reboot reshapes the Mortal Kombat timeline, with Liu Kang now acting as the guardian of Earthrealm, rewriting the destinies of classic fighters like Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Raiden. This cinematic story mode, though, is just pure Mortal Kombat. I know some didn't enjoy it. I did. It's bloody, it's over the top, it's packed with ridiculous twists. But now let's be honest here for a second. On Switch, this game is ugly, real ugly. The visuals are stripped back heavily compared to any other platform. But the actual fighting itself is solid. The new cameo system adds great combo potential, the roster is well balanced, and it still delivers the signature fatalities and over-the-top brawls the series is famous for. Now on Switch 2, performance stabilizes even more, making matches smoother and load times shorter. But basically at this price, look, if you're looking for a proper fighter with plenty of content, this is a good pickup despite its looks. Guilty Gear Strive then is 34% off, another fighter. This one's matching the low price, but I think this is actually easily one of the best fighters on the Switch. It's this and Blaze Blue basically at the very top of the pile. I honestly cannot believe how good it looks running on the system. It is a proper visual showcase with gorgeous anime-styled art and silky animations that Arc System Works are simply known for. Now at its core, it's a fast-paced, very technical 2D fighter with a strong focus on aggressive play and big cinematic combos. The roster though is packed with incredible characters, each with completely different mechanics, and online play supports rollback netcode that holds up real well on Switch. My only warning here is the story mode. It's basically a long visual novel and no fighting involved. And if you're not already familiar with the series, this is complex. It's a winding plot that is going to be tough to follow. So I'd say skip that part if you're new, but the core fighting here is fantastic, and there's still plenty of content to dig into. Just two quick mentions then. Fire Emblem Three Houses is 33% off and Disco Elysium is 70% off. Both are matching their lowest price. Now Three Houses is Nintendo's strategy RPG. You're teaching at a monastery, forging bonds with students and then leading them into these massive turn-based battles that essentially can change the fate of the continent. Disco Elysium then is a completely different beast, an award-winning narrative RPG where you're a detective piecing together a murder in a crumbling city with skill checks and dialogue choices shaping everything. The reason I'm calling these out specifically together is that at the time of this video going live, these discounts are only around for just over 24 more hours, and that is because the Switch summer sale in the UK, Europe and Australia, it's coming to an end. So if you haven't already, I'll link the last few deals videos below. There are huge discounts on incredible games, including brand new titles like Cyberpunk. So yeah, look, if you want to spend money, this sale is basically the way to speedrun it. Our two winners of the week then are on screen right now. Congrats both, email me for the code, and everyone else, drop a comment down below for your chance in next Saturday's video. Alright, a new release and to close out the video, well, at least sort of, I guess. Romancing Saga 2 Revenge of the Seven, Nintendo Switch 2 edition. Long ass title, but it's 30% off. That is right, this classic JRPG just got a full upgrade for the new hardware. And if you already own the game on Switch 1, there's a paid upgrade option for about $10 or your regional equivalent, and honestly, I think it is well worth it. The game itself then is a unique open-ended RPG where you guide a rival dynasty over generations defending your empire against the 7 heroes. It's non-linear, it's packed with branching storylines, and it has a really clever combat system that really rewards experimentation with skills and formations. Now, I just dropped a video on the channel all about this, directly comparing the Switch 1 build to that original version. I'll link that down below alongside my original review. But look, basically at this price, whether you're upgrading or jumping in fresh, I think it's a great time to check it out. And that is going to wrap up this week's Nintendo Switch eShop deals. Some absolute steals in here, and honestly, between this and the summer sale, it feels like my wish list is just permanently emptying itself at this point along, with my bank account. But if this helped you find something new to play or you just enjoy videos like this, consider subscribing. And with Gamescom coming up and a ton of coverage planned, there's going to be a lot more where this came from. We're back now at like daily Switch content. Tons of good stuff on the horizon. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers all.